Hi, I'm Vance, and welcome to Repair and Replace. It can be frustrating if your oven is not heating up properly or your food is not cooking evenly. You might notice that half the food is burning while the middle or the other side is undercooked. In this episode, first we'll learn what causes hot and cold spots to form in the oven, and then we'll use a multimeter to test for a failed heating element and a blown thermal fuse. Let's get started. Electric ovens are pretty simple at a base level. When electricity passes through the heating element, the resistance in the material generates heat. After preheating, the control board monitors the temperature sensor. It will cycle the elements on and off to maintain the cooking temperature. The broil setting uses just the broil element to brown the top of the food. The bake setting will use both elements with the majority of the heat coming from the bake element below. Since air dissipates heat, most ovens will naturally have some areas that are cooler than others. Both the size and type of pan, as well as the spacing of the racks, will affect the air temperature around the food. In convection ovens, a small blower fan circulates air around the oven. If the fan isn't running, then it won't cook as evenly as before. You can see this repair in the video link below. Alternatively, if both heating elements are working and your oven isn't getting hot enough, then it's likely a faulty temperature sensor. You can also see this repair in the video links below. In any case, if one heating element is not turning on, then the oven will not heat evenly. This could be because of a faulty heating element, a blown thermal fuse, or a faulty control board. To begin, you might need a screwdriver, a nut driver, gloves, and a multimeter. Keep in mind, there is some variation between models, and not all ovens will have the same parts. You can enter your model number on the AMRE Supply website to see a parts breakdown. This can be helpful to show you which parts are in your oven and where they are located. Always be safe and disconnect the power at the breaker. Since there might be some sharp edges, it's best to wear cut-resistant gloves. Gently pull the range slightly away from the wall. As soon as there's enough room, go in behind and unplug it from the receptacle. Make sure that there isn't too much tension on the cord. Now, slide the range all the way out so you have plenty of room to work. On the back of the oven is a cover panel. Some models have a small panel near the top and a larger panel near the bottom. Now remove the screws. The panel will likely be sitting on several hooks. Simply lift up to remove the panel. One common cause of underheating is a faulty element. The heating element might look blistered, discolored, or even broken. Often the break can't be seen, so it's best to test the element for continuity. A continuity test will determine if there is a continuous path for electricity to flow through. Without continuity, there is no resistance, and the element will not heat up. First, locate the element on the back of the oven and disconnect the wires. Set your multimeter to the ohms or resistance setting. Now touch each probe to each terminal. If you have continuity and a resistance reading between 10 to 40 ohms, then the element is good. If there is no continuity or the resistance is far outside of that range, then the element is faulty and will need to be replaced. Another possibility is that the element has shorted through the frame of the oven. Set your multimeter to 1000 ohms or higher and test from one of the element terminals to the bare metal of the oven's body. Note this will not work on a painted surface. If you get any continuity reading, then the element is shorting and will also need to be replaced. The heating element can be unscrewed from inside the oven. You can learn how to do this in the video linked below. Now, if both elements are good, then reconnect the wires and move on to the next test. Some ovens will use a thermal fuse, which disconnects the power if the oven overheats. Other models instead will use a high limit switch or thermostat. A blown fuse or a faulty limit switch can prevent one or both elements from receiving power. First, disconnect the wires and isolate the fuse. Set the multimeter to the ohms or resistance with tone setting. Now place the probes on each terminal. If the fuse is good, the multimeter should display between 0 and 1 ohm. If the multimeter doesn't show a reading or doesn't beep, then there is no continuity and the fuse should be replaced. Now unscrew and remove it. Next, replace the thermal fuse and tighten the screw. Now reconnect the wires. If you have eliminated all other problems and the oven's still not working properly, then it could be a problem with the control board. First, do a visual inspection of the board. If you see any charred or blackened spots, then it's a good sign that there's a failed component or short circuit in the board. If you had a power surge recently, that could be the cause. As well, double check that all the wire connectors are secure, as a loose connection can prevent power from going to where it's needed. Overall, these boards are pretty simple to replace, but are non-returnable after installation. So if you're not sure that the control board is faulty, it's best to call a professional. Align the back panel and replace the screws. Now plug in the cord and push the range back into place. Next, reconnect the power. Now you can test your oven. For more troubleshooting videos on water heaters, furnaces, and appliances, then subscribe to our channel. And if you need help, you can call or visit our AMRE location to talk with our knowledgeable staff. Thanks for watching.